First here. Okay.
Good afternoon. My name is Alexander Kemp. I am the Administrative Vice President for TWU Local 100. I appreciate you guys taking the time to hear the concerns of the local and the union. My condolences go out to the Mahajan family. I just want to state for the record to the Mahajan family that I am a father. I have an 11-year-old daughter. I have a 17-year-old son. And one of my biggest fears in life is ever finding out that my son might not be coming home or my daughter. So for the sake of my condolences and a heartfelt condolences to the family, I am very, very sorry that this has become your reality and that this tragic event you will spend the rest of your life reliving. I also want to say for the record that an equal tragedy is that this is being used to weaponize removing the property of business owners who have gave everything they have to try to live and act out the American dream. And because of a tragedy, people who are bloodthirsty for this industry have exploited it and absolutely used the disgusting experience to make this their framework to eliminate an industry that has been represented for over 160 years. The truth is that this is one of the safest mechanisms of tourism on the planet. The truth is that although, and unfortunately, we have lost a life, we do not take a consequence and throw the baby out with the bathwater. We look for ways to make it safer so that it never happens again. We can cite the Triangle fires and how it modified a whole industry. We can speak to the fact that when planes crash, we look for ways to make it safer. We, in transportation, in buses, in trains, we have 400 to 500 people, members, employees of the Transit Authority, getting assaulted every year. I just heard a stat from 1980 up until now has been 98 instances, where the truth is everyday transit workers are getting annihilated, and I don't see any caucus about the safety of the people that you guys are tasked with protecting. So I would just demand that prior to you making a decision on this industry, you look at all of the responsibilities that you have to hold up your end of the bargain, and then collectively we can figure out what the future looks like. But nobody should be making decisions over one experience that is a tragedy that I believe we can ultimately learn from and make the industry safer. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Who's next? Please keep it to 2 minutes. Press the button. Yeah.
Am I on? I cleared it with the staffer. I'm going to read a statement from International President John Samerson, and then I'm going to give my testimony that was approved by the council staff, just so you know. This is from the testimony of Councilman TWU International President John Samerson. This hearing is based on politics, not on the pursuit of animal welfare or public safety. Let's start with the prime sponsor, Councilman Marte. I'm ashamed he left here. At a hearing on Riders' Law last year, Marte said this about horses giving carriage rides. If it was an individual, if it was a human pushing a horse carriage, we would call that inhumane. If it was any other living animal, whether it's a dog or a cat pushing a carriage, we would call that inhumane. Why do we have to put horses at a different level? This is one of the most unintelligent comments ever uttered by a city council member. A 1,600-pound horse is not comparable, Councilman, to a Chihuahua, a Cocker Spaniel, or a Siamese horse. But that is, in fact, the mindset of the animal rights fundamentalists that this council speaker and council are following. Speaker Menon knows this is not an issue of safety in the park. If safety in the park was a real concern, she would hold a hearing on a bill which 20 council members signed onto when it was introduced that would prohibit e-bikes and motorized scooters in Central Park. Nearly 70 people, including pedestrians, were injured in Central Park in accidents involving bicyclists, e-bike riders, and e-scooters in the last 5 years. One died. This is absolutely a political issue. Speaker Menon and the council members here want to end the noise from the animal rights fundamentalists and their real estate backers. The constant phone calls, the emails, the social media posts, and the threats posed to council members, death threats to council members who opposed the bill. Ironically, they are wrong when they think that most New Yorkers don't want to get rid of the horse carriages. There are polls that show strong support for protecting workers, these immigrant workforces, and the horses.
You need to wrap it up,
I'll wrap it up.
please, because you can submit that, so
Yeah,
we'll see.
I will wrap up. I'm on the last two sentences. This bill strips blue-collar workers of their jobs and future income. It offers nothing in return, just a promise of workforce development and the words from the Speaker about potential future jobs, with no mention of compensation to medallion owners who paid, in some cases, hundreds of thousands of dollars for the right to surgery. NAFTA has come to Central Park. At the best, this bill is half-baked, exposing workers and, ironically, horses to harm. This is my testimony.
Thank you. Who's next?
No, I am next because
Oh, you're
I have
next.
the second
Okay,
statement.
I'm
Thank
sorry.
you. Thank you. Thank you. Just 7 months ago, this same committee, the Health Committee, rejected this exact same bill, then called Riders' Law. You rejected the claims that the carriage horses are being mistreated. You rejected claims that the horses aren't receiving proper care. Can I wait till I get attention? Okay. You rejected claims that the horses aren't receiving proper care. You rejected claims that the horses don't have suitable housing. You rejected claims that it is cruel somehow for a 1,600-pound draft horse to propel a carriage horse with giant wheels. You have voted against advancing this very same bill. So what changed? For the first time in 167 years of carriage rides being a popular feature of Central Park, a passenger fatality occurred. One fatality in 167 years. Carriage rides are the most safe mode of travel in New York City. The fatal accident involving Romance was an absolute tragedy, no question. Was it more tragic than the death of bicyclist Salvador Nico Garcia, who was killed in a bicycle accident in the park last year? Was it more tragic than the death of bicyclist Charles Cheeseborough, who was killed in a bicycle accident in 2019? Is it more tragic than the death of 28 people killed in accidents involving two-wheeled motor vehicles in New York City in the first 6 months of this year? No. Are you considering banning walking, biking, scooters, taxicabs, buses, or the subway? Of course not, because that defies all logic and common sense. So does banning carriage horses. The city can address any safety concerns it has by doing what it's supposed to do: govern, regulate. The lawyer for the Romance family earlier said, it's not the workers, it's not the union, it's the city that did zero enforcement. One of the animal rights activists said, the city has done zero enforcement. And the only thing that this council can come up with doing is banning? That is not government, not the government that anybody in this city wants. The city can address safety concerns by holding a hearing on Jim Gennaro's bill. In all fairness to the immigrant drivers, carriage owners, and the horses themselves, the city should shelve this ban. Govern. Don't cancel. That's what voters want, not a knee-jerk reaction to an unprecedented tragedy, and there are polls to back that up. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Who's next? You'll go? Okay, go ahead. Is the mic on?
I'm Joshua Sawsville, horse carriage driver. If the public has been actively deceived, we as the industry involved and our legislators have a responsibility and a duty to expose that